genetics in autism. Here's what I think about genetics when it comes to autism. I don't believe that that there are genetics when it comes to autism. My parents, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents, they were not diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. As a matter of fact, I will confidently say, and my mom will definitely say too, that she was carrying a healthy boy during her pregnancy. There was no drinking involved, there was no smoking or drugs involved or anything like that, and she was eating very healthy and did everything a good parent would do during that time of expecting a child. My dad and my mom, they really wanted a kid, and I was very fortunate to be known as the planned child. You know, they wanted a kid, and they got me. But that's basically what it is. You know, planned and healthy eating and drinking and taking good care before I was born. So I generally do believe that genetics had nothing to do with autism. As a matter of fact, I will say that that genetics in general, and I'm not a doctor, so please don't take my word for it. But I do believe that that when it comes to something up here, it can be quite universal. Well, it doesn't have to be just autism, but it can also be ADHD or Asperger's or Down syndrome or being mute or deaf or blind, that kind of thing. It's everyone's kind of different when it comes to being up here. And of course, I am aware that that when folks they are being irresponsible during pregnancies, there are some areas that became the result for that. But I'm not going to cover that topic. But what I will say is that you can be as healthy as you can, have a very long history of the people that were not diagnosed with certain conditions, and sometimes you can expect the unexpected, such as me. But going forward, I will say that I don't believe that. And when I become a dad, and my wife would give birth to someone, I don't generally believe that I will end up having a kid with autism. I really don't believe that. It's just kind of. Because sometimes things can happen up here that can be quite sweet surprise, and if my kid happens to not have it, well, it's going to be a lot of fun figuring out who he or she will become, and still treat my child just like any other parent would. There's no right or wrong way of doing it, and that's what makes the journey pretty fun afterwards. Genetics when it comes to other stuff, like alcohol or that kind of stuff too. I can understand why folks would go back into that sort of thing. But when it comes to autism, I generally don't believe that genetics had anything to do with that condition. So that's what I think. And above all, that your kids, whether you have autism or not, still your kid. And genetics, they don't have anything to do with it. That's what I believe, and I think it's kind of neat. Kind of neat to not know what to expect, but he or she is still going to be your kid, and genetics has nothing to do with it. So, in the world of autism, of course, too. So, have fun with genetics out there.